Hey house guests, welcome to another update and spoiler from BB Over the Top. Alright, so house guest of the day today is Tawny Quest. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. Maddie and I both really appreciate it. And if you want to be a super duper house guest of the day like Tawny Quest, check out the info in the box below. The Patreon link. Down there. Alright, so thank you so much everybody for your support in my doing this update and spoiler. I saw the nice comments on yesterday's update and spoiler and it made me feel great. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's get right into it. This is day 2 of this debacle for me. I hope I don't F it up again. Alright. After Julie's question and answer period yesterday, less than half an hour. That's a pretty sweet job, Julie. Remember they showed Justin's music pizza video at the end and everybody was like, oh my god, so good. Justin, you're so cool. Justin goes and makes a pizza. How many freaking pizzas do they go through in this house? Not just this season, like every freaking season. I can remember one of the amazing highlights of a couple of seasons ago was watching Johnny Mac surgically slice his pizza with precision. I only wish I lived closer to Scranton so that I could go to him and have him be my dentist, because I think I'd be pretty satisfied with his work. Alright. Scott wants to make a final he wants to make a 2-week deal with Danny for him and Alex, and then he's going to totally screw Danny over and not honor it. Is he delusional? What makes him think that Danny is going to accept a deal from him, or from Alex for that matter? He thinks that America is really digging him and what he's doing and how loyal he is to Alex, and he just is like a little kid the night before Christmas with visions of DeVito dancing in his head. He thinks America's going to drag him to the end with Alex. Does he have an altar in his... I think he's going to have an altar in his room at home too when he goes home with Alex's picture plastered all over it. Alright. Danielle's head of household this week. Did you know? Well, she doesn't know who she's going to put up. But this she can tell you. She does not want to put Scott up on the block. I guess because she does not want to give him a better chance to play in the POV. And she does want to put Alex up because Alex is the target this week. Alright, well... The late night jamboree, they're looking for new members, as always. And Whitney is somebody that they could romance and date and possibly bring into the Sister Wives community over there. Pull her to the other side. I could see that happening. She is kind of a secret floater anyway, without being like obnoxious about it, just as Justin is kind of a not so secret floater between the two sides of the house. And the two of them are kind of in a super secret alliance that they don't even know about. Alright, well, it's time to spoil the show. Chrissy gets her period. She has to run off. Oh, my period's coming. Oh, and Jason is fascinated by this. He's like, how do you know? And Danielle's like, you just know. And he's like, oh, you mean, you have to run to the bathroom before it gets to the end of the tunnel? Yeah, kind of. Alright. Justin provides a little comic relief at this time. Thank God, because that period thing was really dragging me down. He shows off his select dance moves. He's got the shimmy scissor. And he's got the water sprinkler, but it's like none that I've ever seen before, where he's like hitting his arm, and then all the water sprinklers that I knew of were like what the girls were demonstrating, where it's like he's got the chop down the tree, except he's doing it with a chainsaw. The lawnmower, everybody knows that one. But he didn't know you had to start it up. Alright. So, they're getting desperate. There's no TV, there's no Netflix. You gotta make your own fun up there. And what's funner than playing the little games on the back of the kids' cereal boxes that are really meant for 5, 6, 7, 9 years old pushing it? Probably. They're having a good old time though. Because they can't do it. It's actually challenging for them. It's like this Where's Waldo game on the back, and they can't find any of the things. It's taken them forever. Alright. Little side note. Jason found a used tissue underneath his chair. And he's like, oh my god, that's like the third thing I found this week. He actually found Meech's bra in back of one of the dresser drawers. He actually thought it was Natalie's, but it was Meech's. And Justin added in, yeah, and it smelled good too. Ew, how could you smell a random bra from some back of some drawer? Oh, it is Justin. Alright, so the Ball Smashers. Talk about production. Big Brother has a shit fit. They're cutting the feeds. It was, what I gathered was, they were talking about when they were cast, and it was the top 25, and Scott was like, I remember you, and you, and you, and you, and some of the girls were like, I don't really remember you. Shelby was explaining about how there was, you know, the 25 people, and they started cutting the pretty girls. I guess they didn't want too many pretty girls on the show. And Shelby feels like she was cast as the weird one. And I'm going to have to agree. Because I'm thinking she's fitting into that Meech demographic. Shelby or Meech? Who do you prefer? If you were the, let's play casting director for a second. If you were a casting director and they were in your top 25, who would you cast as the weirdo of the group? Ultimate Shelby or Ultimate Meech? I'm going to cast my vote for Shelby. I think Shelby is more colorful than Meech. I like Shelby's stories a lot. I enjoy listening to them. Alright, they were also talking about, well, what do you suppose they used for us in the front of the show when they show the intro? They're all talking about the things that the photographer made them do, you know, like so they're wondering which ones were actually included in the beginning of the show, and they can't wait to find out. Then the talk turns to work stories and the like. And Whitney, I couldn't tell whether she actually worked at this rock place or she was working at the clinic and somebody came in injured, but she was telling a story about, I guess she actually worked there, that some guy came in and he had his own harness and he was like a professional rock climber and he forgot to put his harness on and he climbed up like 20 feet and jumped off. Oh my god, he broke his femur, and like nobody ever breaks their femur, very rarely, because it's like the biggest, thickest, toughest bone in the body. That was, ugh, it's making me sick just thinking about it. And then another guy had a seizure in the bathroom. Shelby was telling about how she worked at this old folks home and she was there pushing her little cart around with stuff, and the old guys with, like, you know, dementia or whatever chasing her around trying to kiss her. That's kind of sweet, but I can imagine it must be tough to have to fight these guys off, because it's like you can't get angry at them because they don't understand. Then Morgan. Oh my God. If you want to get sick, you should try and go back, flashback, and listen to the stories about the cheerleading accidents, bone snapping, ankle snapping. When you don't get caught in that cheerleader basket, something's going to get broken. I think they were even talking about her taking out a cameraman who had jumped in front of her when she was doing a routine, and she took him out. Hey, if it's you or the cameraman, who's going down, cameraman? So Scott, he had some not that exciting stories about working in McDonald's, but he couldn't say McDonald's. He called it the Golden Arches, about customers overdosing in the bathroom. Yeah, I can see that. All right, then this was the crown jewel. Whitney tells a story about corning. You guys ever do that? Like the night before Halloween, one time we were out with a bunch of guys, and you go and you buy a bag of corn, and you go run in the woods and you hide, and like you take the corn and you throw it at cars. I could just see this happening. And I guess they were going through the woods. Maybe they came upon this house or something. It was kind of unclear where this tiny dog came from that started chasing them. Well, them guys turned out to be track stars, and they took off, and the girls were running. And she's running away from this crazy tiny dog who could run really fast. And I think she tripped over a bumper in a parking lot and like fell into the bushes or something. And then I'm not quite sure what happened after that, but it was pretty funny. I had a chuckle at the time. All right. All fun and games aside, let's talk about the late night jamboree. They spend an awful lot of time talking smack about how much the ball smashers suck. It's funny, Chrissy says she hates them all the time. And she finds it ironic because even though she said she hates them, she doesn't really hate them. She only dislikes them. You mean like when Scott said he was going to terrorize Danielle, but maybe he quite didn't mean terrorize? Maybe he meant gave a hard time to? I think somebody needs to screw in their light bulb and turn it on, because it's a real double standard in that house. They just cannot understand why America won't cut them a break. Maybe it's because you're so negative. They just sit around with these chips on their shoulders all the time. They're all so miserable. Oh my God, I had a terrible life, and I blah, blah, blah. Now they're coming up with excuses every time things don't go their way. Oh, America's bullying us. Jason's convinced that production is giving them a bad edit. They're spinning this whole thing to make them look horrible. Jason, honey, it's not on TV. Anybody who's watching legally is paying, so they're watching the feeds too. Most of the time, you see pretty much almost everything that's going on, except you guys like taking a dump or whatever. So yes, at times there's only 2 feeds on or something, and not everybody's out there, but I really don't think you're getting a bad edit on this season. Possibly on the seasons more likely that are on television, because they can control things, and the majority of the people don't get the feeds. They just watch the show that's broadcast. But this is different. So I really don't think that argument is holding water. And Justin, well, this is a whole nother thing. We find out that he's afraid of Bigfoot. That's like the only thing in his life that is like disturbing to him. He loves his life. He loves being a hippie, a free spirit. He loves going fishing. He loves being in the outdoors, but Bigfoot, the possibility of him running into Bigfoot, it makes him nervous. But he knows that the chances are slim to none that he's ever going to run into an actual Bigfoot. So it's all gravy. It's all good, for sure, for sure. Alright, so today, oh my god, red alert time. Freaking Jason Roy is down to his last pack of cigarettes. This is so sad. He's trying to save one cigarette so that when he gets to eat again, he could smoke the cigarette after he eats. Oh boy. Alright. He's going to be real crabby when those cigarettes run out. Chrissy is in bed most of the day. She's got the cramps. They're pretty painful. She said the first 12 hours is the worst. I feel for you, girl. Alright. The Ball Smashers, they're talking about going to Vegas after the show is over. That sounds like fun. I just want to know, how are they getting all this time off to like be on the show for a few months and then take off from Vegas for a while? I don't know, but I want that life. Alright, so America's Care Package is arriving. Get out to the backyard right now. I said run! Alright, so it drops in pretty quickly. We didn't have to wait that long today. And it's for Shelby. Now, I had voted for Morgan. I was planning, my first instinct was to vote for Shelby, but I was trying to save the other next one for her. But Shelby got this one. And it was full of some Halloween candy, some little plastic Halloween popper toys, some sticky eyeballs, a plastic rat, some glow rings, and then the, you know, not as important as all that Halloween candy, but she also gets the power to eliminate 3 eviction votes. Oh, shit. What? This is huge. This is the hugest America's Care Package ever. So the Late Night Jamboree is like, what the fuck? They are so pissed. You can see Chrissy behind those sunglasses is just livid. Danielle takes off. She's sniffling up in the HOH room. It's pretty defeating. They want to know, what did we do? Maybe you're blaming everyone else. I don't know. Maybe America doesn't like negative people. I don't know. But I can't explain it. But I know it's a thing because I want to vote to nominate them. So tonight is the live diary rooms. Should be interesting. I'm sure the Late Night Jamboree is going to have a lot to say about America's Care Package. And I guess we'll pick up there tomorrow. So until next time, much love.
Edit.